Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So, Orange Crush Mini, new for 2018 actually. I know we're almost done 2018, but I finally got one. Actually, I saw these yesterday for the first time in mcquade when I was there, and I thought, that's really cool. I've got to check this out on YouTube. And I looked at a couple of videos, and by the way, this is like 80 bucks Canadian. And I had an orange amp before, and I like them. I think orange amps are actually really cool. Anyhow, so you guys should know the story on that and why I took it back and so on. But otherwise, I did like it. It was a pretty cool little hybrid amp. Maybe I'll get another one again. But I think the next one will be the Terror, not the Dark. The Dark was a little bit too much. The Terror is a much cleaner sounding amp, I think. But anyway, so you get a little booklet with your instructions, you know, and a little inspector card. Now, these are British amps, so, you know, they make some good stuff, you know. London, England, established 1968, so this thing, this company is actually 50 years old. So, well, let's get into this little guy. Now, this is what I didn't expect in a micro amp, because I have other micro amps. I've got the Boss Katana Mini, and I've got a Honey Tone amp as well. I will be doing a shootout video pretty soon, and we're going to compare the sounds of them all and talk about prices and so on. But this thing's actually got a flipping wood cabinet, you know. Nice tweed cloth for the speaker grill. It does have a 4-inch speaker in it and 3 watts of power. It even has a built-in tuner. And of course you've got your sharp, flat, and okay, you're in tune, and you just select tuner by the switch. Then of course you've got your gain, your volume, and your shaping control. That's kind of like, you know, scooping the mids one direction or another to change your tone. We're going to go through all that. Now your power is actually your input jack. So for those of you who don't know about this one, that's what it is. Alright, because I was even looking at first for, where's the bloody power? And then I saw the little sign on there that's, oh, power and jack. Okay, I get it. So it only turns on when you plug it in. Headphone jack for private listening. Now on the back here, you can plug in a 9-volt pedal power supply. Minimum requirement is 500 milliamps. So if you have a pedal power supply that's under that, don't use it because it'll sound like crap because it won't have enough milliamp power. So you need at least 500 milliamps. Auxiliary input, so you can hook in like your iPhone or iPad or Android device, an MP3 player type of thing right in there and play along with the music. Okay. Now what I found was really good about this compared to the other Orange Crush Mini. This is an up-to-date version, of course, for 2018. They've added a speaker cab out for 8 ohm. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, because I actually built myself a little cab out of a subwoofer, and the 8-inch driver is actually 8 ohm. But we are going to plug it into the Marshall 4x12, which is 16 ohm, which I talked to my buddy over there at mcquade, and he says, it's just not going to be as efficient, you know? And I says, well, I'm not going to blow anything up. No. I said, okay, well, then we'll hook it in and actually see what it does do with 16 ohm load on it. Because even the company doesn't get specific as far as whether it can run a 16 or is this 8 ohm minimum, you know. But it does say 8 ohm, so I would assume it should actually use an 8 ohm, but, you know, which makes kind of sense for full power potential. And for 3 watts, I mean, I'm not expecting a whole heck of a lot. Videos can be very deceptive, which is why I also do not mic up any amplifiers in my videos unless I'm specifically going to do it for a specific reason. But when I'm testing out gear for you guys or, you know, doing a test review, I do not mic it up. Everything gets recorded direct in this case, to my camcorder, which has stereo speakers, which can more than handle even 100 watts of mayhem from my Katana 100 watt 1x12 without distorting the sound input. So I'm going to grab my SG here, and we're going to plug into this thing and see what it actually sounds like. Because, you know, to listen to a video is one thing. To actually hear this for myself, that's another ball of wax altogether. And it does come, by the way, with a 9-volt battery included. So let's put the controls at half first, everything at 12. That's actually pretty clean. Just a hair break up there. Let's check out this tuner, because I just tuned this guitar with my Snark tuner. Oh, that's pretty much on. Yeah, it goes right to A. D is on. I'm a little sharp on the B. And we're dead on. So the tuner is actually really good. Just give you a little down angle of that so you can see. So it'll go through each string. Okay, so that's bringing the trebles way up. Let's go 3 o'clock. It's a little thin. All the way up. Okay, not bad. So we're going to go 3 o'clock and then everything else at 12. In the, whatever you want to call that knob. Sorry about that, my bad. That's pretty cool. 9 o'clock. Right to the top. Okay, so we've got the gain and the volume both at 3 o'clock and the tone shaper in the middle. o'clock. Okay, let's try 3 o'clock. Full out. Everything full blast, and shaper in the middle. Okay, so I guess the next test we want to do, see what it's like on the cab. So, we are now hooked into the Marshall 4x12 cab. Everything right in the middle. And I will do a video for you guys too eventually of this thing hooked up to my new Boss GT 1000. Okay, so we're at 12:12 and 3 o'clock. So we've got full out in the middle for the shaper and volume at 9. 16 ohm 4x12. Shaper at 3. The controls are really sensitive. Just a little movement makes a huge difference. So there's tons of different ways to get different tones out of this thing. So we've got full out, middle, and 12 o'clock on the volume. This thing can get pretty obnoxious for 3 watts. There's 3 o'clock. Very obnoxious. Full blast. Okay, so we're running a 16 ohm, and when you're going full out with this thing, I can hear just a little bit of it wants more but it can't have it kind of thing, you know. So a 16 ohm, you could run it like, I wouldn't run it full blast, but you know, because you get that annoying sound you might not want. But I had that with the Hughes and Kettner actually. With the Hughes, I had it on a speaker that turned out to only be a 4 ohm load, and the Hughes runs between an 8 to 16 ohm. And so when I got the Marshall 4x12, I actually got it with the Marshall head that was like a 100-watt head, but it was like too loud for this room. Like I couldn't even get the thing up to 1, you know, just way too much. So I ended up with the Hughes, took the Marshall head back, kept the cabinet, and got the Hughes and Kettner 2 Meister 18, and it's actually a perfect match for the Marshall 4x12, which is great, you know. So yeah, the little orange, oh man, this thing is just like crazy. The cab out feature is beautiful. I will do another video running a 8-inch, I think it's this one, an 8-inch speaker that's 8 ohm in the cab. I actually converted a subwoofer from a TV surround sound system, and I put in an 8-inch Fender speaker actually in there. It's a 15-watt speaker. I put that in and used it till I got that. Till I got the 4x12 cab, and it actually sounds pretty good. So it should be interesting to see what it's like on the orange what do you call this thing? I keep forgetting. My brain is not thinking. Keep calling it, yeah, Orange Crush Mini. So great little amp though. Even by itself, I mean, it's a pretty good sound, you know. And you know, you just dime this sucker. You know. You know, if you want my opinion, which a lot of people, you know, of course, that's why you watch YouTube channels, right? You want their opinion. So you want my opinion on this little amp. I think it really super deserves a 4.5 out of 5. I mean, it's just absolutely not perfect, which is great. Nothing in life ever is. It is a quality built piece of machinery. You know, the cabinet is nicer than any other little mini amp I've ever come across or even owned. and it's a solid. It's a wood cab. You know, I mean, knock, knock, knock. I mean, that's a nice cabinet. It's got a 4-inch speaker in it, which is great. 3 watts, you know, which is pretty obnoxious for 3 watts if you ask me. Especially when you run it to that cab. I mean, it sounds like it's a lot more than 3. But the fact that you can run it to a cab, that's a feature I've not seen on any other micro-sized little practice amps. You know, this is not something you can throw on your belt buckle, but I'm sure you can modify your own little strap and have a shoulder strap for it and, you know, still walk around town playing guitar, you know what I mean? The 9-volt battery is going to last you for several hours, I'm sure. You know, so that won't be a problem. And the battery actually goes right in the bottom here underneath. You know, so you just open the little trap door and there's your little 9-volt. Or like I said, you can run it off power supply. It's a really... It's a neat amp. It really is, you know. I like the idea of the integrated power switch where you just plug it in and boom, you got power. Doesn't seem to have any issues with my wireless, which I wouldn't expect anyways for it to have any issues there. But it does sound good by itself. It sounds great on a stack, you know, like even on a, you know, half part, right, you know, 4x12 bottom cab. Sounds great on that. You could hook it into like a full stack, like two cabinets, and wire them for 8 ohms, and you know, really rock down the house at that point with it. You know, it's not super obnoxious. You can generate a lot of different tones. The tuner is actually super accurate. I was really impressed. I use Snark tuners. And I've got this super tight one that I use the most because it's extremely accurate and very fast. It's also one of the newest model ones, well, newer models. There's actually a new one out now that I actually want to try out that I saw today in there. And I've heard a bit about it. A guy had asked me on my channel about it. I'm like, okay, I haven't heard of that one yet. Let me look into that one. So eventually I'm going to buy it and try it out and see what I think of it. You can't have too many tuners after all. I've only got like about a dozen of them already, and you know, half a dozen capos. So, you know, so, but for $80 Canadian, this, like I said, this is a long mcquade. I think it's definitely worth the $80. I mean, you're getting a lot for your money here. You know, you're getting the extension speaker out cab accessory availability, 3 watts of power. Battery or power supply, headphone jack, built-in tuner. You know, you've got your tone shaper control there, which, you know, you find that even on the Micro Terra, the Micro Dark. You've got the shaper control, you know. And so these are very unique amps. They're not like, you know, bass, mid, and treble and all that jazz that you find on other amps. It's a shaper system and very, very sensitive. Even the controls for your gain and your volume, you know, a little tiny movement is a big difference and changes the sound and the tone of it, you know, and it's like, wow. So I mean, and so you can dial in a lot of different tones, not even throwing a pedal on this thing yet. You know, it does a lot. And like I said, we will do a video. I will do a video for you guys. I don't know when, soon though. Having that actually hooked in and running off my Boss GT1000 processor, and we'll see how the different effects actually sound going through that, because distortion and clean are one thing, and even running clean, once you dial in that nice clean tone, by itself it's really good. And of course on the Marshall 4x12, really nice for the clean. You know, so it can clean up really nice. It can get extremely raunchy too, but even the raunch is a clean raunch, which I like that. That's really nice. You know, it's not like over fuzzy distorted. It's nice, you know. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think it's a win. So if you even want a small practice bedroom amp and you want a high quality product but without spending major bucks, you know, take a look at the Orange Crush Mini. You know, I mean, it's a unique amp. It's fun. It's compact. I mean, the thing is like, you know, I mean, it's way smaller than, you know, my Hughes and Kettner amp, obviously. But, you know, even comparing that in size, the Boss Katana Mini has a 4-inch speaker in it. They call it a special 4-inch speaker, whatever that's supposed to mean. But there's my Katana Mini in comparison. Now my Mini, of course, does have a lot more in it, right? It's got a built-in delay, it's got bass mid treble, it's got main volume, it's got gain, it's got a couple of built-in effects, you know, which are like your, what does this thing got, like brown, clean, and crunch, you know, and of course separate power switch, runs on batteries too, you know, like in this case it runs off whack loaded AA's as opposed to this on a 9-volt, and this can run 9-volt. This is going to be a lot louder, of course. It's 7 watts, different size cab, different kind of sound, voicing in the amp and the speaker. But either way, I mean, and you know, the Katana Mini, that's only 138 Canadian for the Katana Mini, and it's an awesome amp, you know. And you can do busking actually with the Mini. I don't know if you would really want to do busking with this thing as an amp all by itself. If you had like a cab on it, even a small 8-inch cab, I think then you could probably do busking without a big deal there and still be all battery powered too, which is great, you know. So you just take it to the beach, take it to the park, whatever, you know, or even just as is, just, you know, haul around with it and just play in the park, play in the beach with it. And you know, it's going to be obnoxious enough that it's going to attract attention, and people are going to be like, wow, man, what is that? That's cool. That's a neat piece of kit. So do take a look at the Orange Crush Mini. Like I said, this is a 2018 model. It's a newer version. So, you know, it does include the cab out feature that the other one didn't, you know, which is a big thing. I didn't take that close of a look at the other one to see if it had a built-in tuner or not. But I'm just, you know, talking about this one per se. And yeah, I think it's a great little machine, and you know, so it's definitely got a home, and you know, it's great. So let me know what you guys think. Now remember, my recordings are not mic'd up; they're live, right into the camera, direct in something like this, and because I want to give you guys, you know, like the best sound reproduction without modifying into 24-bit and changing this and that, making it sound like $1 million prize. You know what I mean? Just give you the real goods flat out, and so that's what we're doing here. So anyways, voila, catch you on the next one, guys. Later.